and girls, babies in your diapers. Welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a super yummy video game to talk about, a book about a missing cat, my bonus score report, and we're going to totally awesome guest, the one, the amazing SWAMI. SWAMI is a mathematician and an expert on making things. This is your second time on my show. Thank you for coming back.
You're welcome.
Today, we're going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be amazing.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Restaurant Tycoon 2. So this is a game of the Roblox platform. It was made by Ultra Games. Because it is on Roblox, you're able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free! So this is the answer to Restaurant Tycoon and Clone Tycoon and Pizza Factory Tycoon. I think I can see a pattern going on. So I tried the first game, and I remembered starting my restaurant and making my food and serving it to my guests. But now you can hire a chef, but you have to teach him to cook first. You are the master chef, and you have to show them how to cook. Then you hire waiters to serve the food, or you can take the order and serve it yourself. Or you can also go to the big store and get better tables and chairs. But this time they added a fridge for drinks and a construction store so that you can change your walls and floors. Today you have 1 hour left to earn double money. Oh, and now you can have a tip jar. So cool. So if you don't want to pick up all the money, you can set up a credit card machine and get your money at the end of the day instead. And the best part is that I can allow my friends from Roblox to join my game and help me in my restaurant. You heard me. You can get your friends to work for you in the game. When you get big enough, you can even add a second floor to your place. I give Restaurant Tycoon 10 out of 10 stars because it is awesome and they added many new features. The animation of the cookie is spot on and it really looks like the food they ordered. I like the better controls that you can improve people as well as your skills. Oh my, I got my dad to play. Now he works for me and clears up all the dishes when the guests leave. Mwahaha! See, TiberiusSmith.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
The website again is cwsmith.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
For 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
Hey guys, this is TC1, and when I stay in Orlando, I like to stay at the Quality Suites over on International Drive. They are amazing properties, simple rooms in an all-suite hotel with outdoor pool, a restaurant, plus free Wi-Fi and a shuttle. Guys, give them a call at 407-363-0332. They're located at 7400 Canada Ave, Orlando, Florida, 32819.
And now it's time for the book of the week, The Case of the Cat's Meow. This book's written by Crosby Bonsall. She passed away over 20 years ago and was 74 years old. She wrote over 40 children's books, and this is one of them. Let me read to the back of the book. So, SWAMI, would you want to do the honors?
Well, sure. Let me have that there. It says, the 4 members of the Private Eyes Club, Skinny, Wizard, Snitch, and Tubby, solved the baffling case of the missing cat.
So there's a cat named Mildred, and Snitch, her owner, loved her. He wanted to protect her, so he set up an alarm and a trap in the clubhouse of his friends Skinny, Tubby, and his brother, Wizard. It was a string across the door with a bucket of water so it would fall down on anyone that did not step over the string. The next day, the cat was gone. They went around town looking for the cat, and they put out food by the clubhouse. But instead, all the cats in the area showed up for the food. They found all the dogs they could find to make the cats go away. Then they had to find a way to get rid of the dogs. Finally, they found that Mildred's food dish was still getting eaten. So they put flour on the ground so that they could track her. When they followed the footsteps, they were surprised to find... I can't ruin the story for you. You have to go to the library and read the book yourself. Well, I give the case of Cat's Meow 8 out of 10 stars because I enjoyed the cool surprise at the end, and I liked all the different traps and ways they tried to protect and find the cat.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our awesome sponsors, SlutChannelUS.com. These guys are very, very cool. They bring 21st century surface drainage solutions to reality. They can do corporate and government work. These are the guys that make roads and bridges safe in the rain. You can see all about them at SlutChannelUS.com. That website again is SlutChannelUS.com. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373.
And now it's time for our interview with an interesting person. Today's case is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the amazing SWAMI. SWAMI is a mathematician with an engineering degree and an expert on robotics. He has a passion for 3D printing and makerspaces.
Yes, I do. I'm a big fan of makerspaces and making stuff and helping people.
So thanks for visiting again. How are you enjoying being on the show?
So far, so good.
So to jump right in, last time we talked about paper folding. Today, we're going to talk about makerspaces. What is a makerspace?
A makerspace is YMCA, 24 hours with tools, and you can come and go anytime you want.
YMCA.
It also is a community of makers, and that's maybe even more fun and important than all the equipment you get. You get all the people that you can create and collaborate and do cool things with.
Wow. So what got you interested in being part of a makerspace?
Well, I was attending 3D printing meetups there for a while, and I decided I want to get into it more, so I joined up to get access to the printers. But then I found this whole community of amazing people and things going on, and I've just been hanging out there for almost 3 years now.
Wow. Okay. So you're the head 3D printer guy at FACTUR. Did you start FACTUR?
I did not start FACTUR. There was a guy, Doug Brown, about 5 years ago. He went around the country checking out other makerspaces and then decided how he was going to do his and bought a bunch of stuff and got a bunch of people together and started the makerspace.
Wow. So what else can you do at FACTUR?
Well, there are a lot of areas in FACTUR. In addition to 3D printing, we have lasering, that's cutting and engraving. There's woodwork, metalwork, glasswork, sewing, electronics, crafts, leather, painting, actually. And if you have a special interest, maybe you could start your own department there.
Wow. That's cool. Okay, so what is the coolest thing that you have ever made?
The coolest thing I've ever made? Well, I helped out on a trophy for an international race. And it was made with 3D printing, which I did. It was done with woodworking on the CNC machine that cuts the wood, and also done with the laser machine. And it was an international race, and the guy who won the whole thing was in Florida, so he won our trophy, and he was on international TV shaking the trophy and going, "This is the best trophy I've ever won." So that was probably one of the coolest things I was into.
Okay, so what is the hardest thing that you have ever made and finally finished?
The hardest thing I ever made and finally finished, well, one of them was probably a exoskeleton. It goes on your arm and it multiplies your force. So when you're in the factory, you can pick up heavier things and do work for longer. That was a really challenging one to do.
Wow. So tell me, Why are makerspaces important for kids today?
So there are maker spaces all around. In fact, libraries have maker spaces that kids can go to, and it helps them learn all kinds of things. So you can learn designing things. You can learn how to prototype, which is experimenting and figuring out how to make them. And you can learn software, and you can learn to operate different machines, and you can learn to collaborate with other people. There's just so many different cool things that you can learn in a makerspace.
So if I wanted to learn how to make stuff, does Factor have classes for kids my age to learn?
Factor has a lot of workshops, and we do have some for younger kids. In fact, I teach a workshop where you draw your artwork, and then I turn it into 3D. And you get to learn the process and everything. Some of them are more adult. Maybe they have very heavy equipment and things that you want to be very careful with. But there are some things for kids.
Okay. Now I got to visit Factor, and you helped me make a laser engrave of my name. Besides wood, what else can you laser on top of?
We can laser on many materials. We can laser on plastics. Fabrics, leather, denim, like your jeans on your clothes, and we can engrave on metal and glass.
How on metal? Because doesn't it reflect?
Reflect? That's a good question. I haven't found any problem with that. Some of the metals I have a black kind of dye on them, so it wasn't reflecting much.
Okay. Recently, did you guys print on a laptop?
We did. A friend of mine wanted to surprise his niece with a graduation gift, so he brought in a laptop that he was going to give her, and we found an image that she actually said she liked, and we shot the laser on it. And it worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was scary, huh? You don't want to mess that up.
So I see all this stuff. What did you bring?
Well, let me show you. So for 3D printing, if you have a favorite comic book character or movie star, there's our Iron Man. Now, he's very high detail. He took over 20 hours to print. So some things take a little while. In the 3D printing world, if you like Donkey Kong, you can print out your Donkey Kong here. That one's kind of a fun. That went on a trophy for a video game thing. The last 3D printing thing I have is an invention, and somebody wanted to prototype their device, and it spins freely like this, and if you pull it up, then it ratchets for spooling it's kind of like a fishing wire or something there. So those are the 3D printing things. We have leather work, so I helped one of our members, William, create this field book, but one of our guys, Nick, he does fused glass. So you get bits of glass and you put them together and you heat them up in a special oven called a kiln, and then it all fuses together into this solid piece, this is a sushi tray, and you can take a workshop on this and walk away with a sushi tray.
So did you make all of this stuff?
I didn't make it all, but you can make it all at Factor. We have all kinds of equipment, and we'll train people how to do it, and then they have to learn. Sometimes you make mistakes along the way. That's part of the process. But all of the stuff that I'm showing you here today was made by somebody at the Factor Makerspace. Yep. And the big surprise... Oh, it's heavy.
Is that
a 3D printer. And we have 9 3D printers of different sizes. They're all this same technology because you can 3D print with metal and you can 3D print with goo, kind of a resin. And this one is an extruded plastic, so it's kind of a fancy hot glue gun where a motor puts the plastic in through here, it heats it up, and then it comes out a little nozzle on here, and then it moves down and it lays down the plastic on the bed, and it moves around back and forth, and then it moves up and does another layer, another layer, another layer, another layer, and then 21 hours later, Iron Man.
Okay. So if my listeners want to grow up to make things, what advice would you give them?
Do what you love and love what you do. That's what I always say. And whatever you have interest in, find a way to make it. Yeah, and you might want to get people to help you, right? Because I'll tell you one thing, everything I learned I didn't know before. Mm-hmm. And some of it I had to get some help from other people. Mm-hmm. And then I would run with it on my own and see what I could do with it. And so that would be some advice I would give to people who want to learn to make things.
Okay, so I know you have an open house event for Factor. When is your next one?
That's another good question. We have an open house every Thursday from 4 to 7, and it's a walk-in, so there's no appointment required. You just show up, sign up, and then they'll take you around and show you everything and tell you all about it.
What was the time?
That is every Thursday, 4 to 7, and we have another big event on the fourth Friday in the evening from 5 to 10. We have a Factor Friday, and it's kind of a showcase. We have live music, food truck, and all of the artisans are there. You can take workshops.
Okay. I think I've been to one of the Factor Fridays.
I think you might have too. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. When you showed me around, showed your place.
Yeah, I love doing that. And you were so excited to be there.
I was. For the Factor, I remember the sign. Maybe the U was the...
We have a big, yep. We'll be showing that off at the Maker Faire. We have a giant 8-foot-long sign, maybe, and each of the letters are made in the different areas of disciplines within Factor.
Yeah,
yep, and I made a giant letter. Yeah, the one I did was the R. The U one you're thinking of was done with glass. That one was done by the glass worker.
The R. So was there anything you made that you wished you had not?
Oh. Is there anything I made that I wish I had not? That I would fess up to, I guess, is probably a question. No, I don't think so. I'm pretty discerning in the things that I get into. Yeah.
So how do you decide what you want to create?
That's another good one. So I am a learner and a teacher by nature and profession. So a lot of what I do is helping other people realize their ideas. Mm-hmm. So a good bit of what I do is somebody comes to me with an idea and then I help them make it.
Okay. So I saw you have woodworking and metalworking, even glass blowing. So do you know how to use all those tools as well?
I do not know how to use all of them, but I have learned to use a number of them since I became a member. I have not done any of the metal or the glass.
So only the wood.
But all of the other stuff I've done something in.
Okay. Now you have been here before, so you won't fall for my gotcha questions. So just tell me something that no one knows about you. I won't tell anyone.
Okay. Nobody knows that. I have it. Nobody knows that I have a secret desire to be a high fashion designer of haute couture fashions. Yeah. Have you ever seen that? They go down the walkway and they have these crazy planters on their heads and dresses with all this crazy stuff on it. Very creative and flamboyant stuff. That's what they call haute couture, which means like high fashion, high style.
Wow. So is there anything else you think my listeners should know about Factor?
Sure. Well, how do you join up? How does it go? And all that kind of stuff. So we have some cards here, and our motto is Learn, Create, Share at Factor. And like I said, it's YMCA with tools, 24/7 access, and it's a community of makers. So you pay a flat rate per month, and you go by month, so you can come and go when you need to. And then once you sign up, they'll show you around and they'll introduce you to people. And then when you want to use certain big equipment, they'll hook you up with the right member who can train you on it. And then off you go, and you're a maker.
Wow. Okay, so do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners that want to follow you?
Certainly. We have a Facebook. So if you go, just search for FACTUR, and that's spelled FACTUR. It's part of the word manufacture. So if you go to Facebook and look for FACTUR, you can also go to our .org, which is factor.org. We do have, you can look us up on Instagram. And I think, we're also on Eventbrite. And that's where you schedule your classes, which you can also link from the Facebook page.
Okay. So if you could teach me to make one thing, what would it be?
R2-D2!
But you have to teach me how to make it.
That's right. We have to learn together, because even when I help other people, and I know some of what I'm doing, but sometimes I don't know. In fact, there was a time when I was doing computer programming for 3D, and somebody would call me up and say, hey, I need to make this, that, and the other. And I say, okay, I can do that. And then I would hang up the phone, and I would say to myself, how am I going to do that? So I have managed to get paid for learning all my life.
Wow. Okay, so what is the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
The one question that you forgot to ask me. You forgot to ask me, how much does a 3D printer cost?
How much does a 3D printer cost?
Well, you can get one now for $200-ish as a kit, or you could buy one for $1 million if you had some big industrial use requirement. Yeah.
So, thank you, SWAMI, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Most definitely. Let's do some math.
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855. The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator rights. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now. Get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com. Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
Get ready, it's time for the Bowling Score Report.
So I got to go to bowling this week at Boardwalk Bowling, and Mr. Bowling helped me a bit. I got a 94 and a 106 and a 76 in the final game. It was fun to see Anna again, and she was playing on another lane. I did get to play with Mia, Fabian, Kyle, and Emilu. It was a lot of fun. So why don't come out and play bowling with me? Oh, and I got to do an interview at the bowling alley with the author of The Nerd Who Saved the Universe, Mr. Rick Fontaine. So, if you want to go bowling with me, be sure to join me at the new Fall League Up Boardwalk Bowling Saturdays at 10 a.m. in the morning, bro.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners.
Thank you, SWAMI, for helping me with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about variables. So I have been doing my IXL.com math exercises, and we got into a number of problems that have to do with variables. Now, first off, a variable is a letter that represents a missing number. Sometimes it is at the end of an equation, or other times it can be in the middle. So let's say you have 12 minus a equals 7. Now you have to solve for a. So if you subtract 7 from 12, and then you can figure out what it equals, which is 5. Now, sometimes there are 2 variables in the problem. Now, this is where it gets cool. The answer of one variable can affect the answer of another. So if you take the problem y equals 2x minus 3, you can solve for y by putting different values in x. And so if you make x equal 2, then y equals 2 times 2, which is 4. Then minus 3, and then you get 1. Now when you have 2 variable problems, then you can plot it on a graph. So you put a point where x is 2 and y is 1. Now you solve one more time for y, where x is a different number. So let's make x equal 3, and then you times 3 by 2, and then you get 6, and minus 3, and then you get 3. So now on the graph, you put a point where x is 3 and y is 3. Now here comes the cool part. You can draw a line that crosses both points, and it will mark the answers for all possible solutions for both x and y. So, if you have an equation with 2 variables, you can graph it into a line. So, SWAMI, do you know all about how to work with variables?
Yes, I work with variables all the time. In fact, last night when I was designing that motor mount bracket, I had a whole bunch of variables in there for the sizes of the holes and all the other parts.
Wow. Thank you, SWAMI, for your help with math corners.
You are welcome, Tiberius.
Oh.
And now it's time for Heart of a Lion. We, the Tiberius Show, like living with the heart of a lion. Living with the heart of a lion stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. We asked Dr. Ferret exactly what that means.
Leadership is really about influence. Leadership is, and the way we define it is good leadership, is about setting the right example and encouraging other people to do the right thing. Integrity is about doing right no matter what. Through life, there are a lot of different circumstances that arise, and integrity, someone who shows integrity, it doesn't matter what all the external things are, they always choose to do what is right. Obedience is about obeying those who are in authority over you, whether that's a teacher, a boss, a parent, that when you are asked to do something, that you respond with obedience, quickly and completely. Nobility is about having respect. It's about carrying yourself with respect and showing respect to others. When you put these 4 things together, that's Lion Strong.
This week, we're going to talk about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering we are God's special possessions and acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. The qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness. Well, this week I did see nobility when we do the One Great Day of Service and we help people with things to make their place or life better. Last time we went to a medical center for older people and we cleaned the windows and the chairs of buildings where older people did meetings. It was a selfless act to help someone else, and it was something that older people that would not be able to do by themselves. So, SWAMI, did you see or use nobility at all this week?
Did I use it this week? Well, I guess helping people is a kind of goodness and generosity. So, yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. So, of all the Heart of Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
Integrity is probably my favorite, because without integrity, you don't have a whole lot, and people will really put their trust in you, and if they know that you have integrity.
So, teaching is also noble. Did you know that?
Yeah, I guess it is.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing SWAMI!
Thank
for
you.
being my special guest this week. It has been so much fun talking with you today, and I look forward to visiting FACTUR again and maybe making a few things. But I would like to see if you can come back in a month or 2.
Sure, that's a great offer. I would love to come back and do more of this fun stuff.
And be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show. Your host, Tiberius! Boom!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer, Joseph Boyd. Production editor, Pierre Laguerre. Green Room manager, Danny Boyd. Broadcast associate, James Smith. And your program host, Tiberius Boyd. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.